everybody, it's Christine Bertram. I'm coming to you live from the Hive here in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. We're ready for another night of stamping together. And I'm super excited because about 15 minutes ago, maybe 20, not more than that, we just finished designing the monthly cards for the month of November. And as I was sitting here waiting for the prompts to come up, I was adding the last little bit of embellishments to them, you guys. It's all about maximizing the time and getting as much done as you possibly can, and we did it. So I was so excited to get these done. So they were on my docket or radar to do yesterday, and that doesn't always work. So, all right, we have Kathleen Ketterman. Hi, Jolene, she's watching, yay. There is, and she put the host code out there for anybody who needs to know what it is. Hi, Susan Bellamy. Hi, Laura Sullivan and Linda Hunt. And then there's Sarah Merchant. Yay. And Susan, are you okay in your place? Okay, I think that Susan's okay. She was without power until I believe it was yesterday. So I had a little conversation with her and she said, you don't realize how much you use your internet until you don't have internet. So I said, I'm on internet all the time. Hi, Debbie Eversbacher. You're very welcome. And yes, thank you so much for the ribbon from the free shipping. No, so Debbie Eversbacher, you didn't win the ribbon for the free shipping. I'm pretty sure that you were a door prize. If you flipped over the Happy Mail card, it would have said on there what you were the winner from, and I believe that you had won a door prize from a class. Now, the free shipping is a stamp set, and I have a few here that I want to go through with you when I have a hot second. I was going to give you a quick phone call and let you know. Nina Barbaric won the other free shipping stamp set. So I got to talk to both of you girls about your free stamp sets. So, I'm pretty sure the ribbon was from a door prize. So yay. All right. There's Holly and Judy. Hi, Hope Toy. There's Angelique and Shelly Cooper. Hi, Christine. Hi, Lynn. And no damage. Good. Yes. Lots of debris from the neighbor's trees. No electricity for 2 days. No internet or TV until last night. Yep. See? Hi, Donna Grushke. Hi, Sherry Martin. Hi, Jeannie Gertis. Hi, Jean Terwilliger and Kari Dwyer. Hi, Annette Rollin. I hope you're enjoying your time away. We miss you, FYI. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Connie. There's Mary Lemke. Hi, Barbara Gabi. Hi, Sana. I hope you're doing better. Hi, Mimi. There's Randy. Yay. Penny Powell. Penny, we need to chat too. I have 2 card classes on the back counter for you that are here, and I needed to connect with you to see if there was anything else or if those are the 2 that you want. So, yay. Okay. All right, we have the monthly class for the month of October. We've completely transitioned now to making Christmas cards, and we'll get to those momentarily. I do want to let you guys know what I worked on today. Besides, we got the monthly cards ready for the month of November. My mom and I and my dad, we took a road trip up to Green Bay to countertop specialists. The countertops came in. They finished them, I think, on Tuesday, and they said they were ready for pickup. And I had wanted to work on getting them next week after designing days were done. And Mom and Dad were like, we're free today. We'll go with you if we can go today. And so that's what we did. We drove up to Green Bay. My dad drove, and we used Tyler's truck, and we got my countertops. And so they are all officially in the garage, and the cabinets are coming in and being delivered tomorrow. So the progress is still happening on the remodel project. I am excited for it to be done, like I think anybody would be with a remodel project. I think that installation of the cabinets and the countertops will wait till we get back from San Diego, though. Hi, Deanne Dawn. Hi, Nedra. Hi, Mary Schreiber. Yay, there is Sue. I love it. Okay, so we're going to be working on that afterwards. What was happening over the next 3 days? We have fabulous weather here, actually through Monday. We had 60s today, mid 60s, which you guys are probably thinking that's probably cold, but we had mid 60s, and it's supposed to get up to potentially 70s the next 3 days. And we haven't finished or even worked on the stones since Saturday night. And we want to there's 3 walls to put up. And what we want to do is get one of the walls done. And that is our goal. So starting tomorrow and into Sunday, we're going to be laying stone. And little by little, that will get done. I don't think we'll be able to finish all 3 walls this season it's not fun to lay stone when it's 50 degrees and raining, and that's kind of what's coming our way. This like that it falls upon us, and we never know how cold it's going to be and when it's going to start snowing. So we'll be happy if we get one wall laid. So, but yeah, so that's what's forecasted for my future is laying stone and designing some cards for. I think we have Stamp-a-Stack is half designed. You guys, in case you're wondering, a little bit festive Stamp-a-Stack is coming up the first part of November. They're going to be 14 cards for your Christmas Stamp-a-Stack, and we have them all laid out in terms of the planning of what goes with what. We just have to assemble them and add the ribbon and the zhuzhing them up. And so Stamp-a-Stack, we're going to plan to finish that on Monday morning. And then there's a Reindeer Fun Memories and More class that I'm working on designing, and my plan is to design that Tuesday morning. And then there's a sweet class that we're planning to design on Sunday later in the day. And the showcase, for those of you who like to watch the Showcase Showdown, no, it's not. It's not The Price is Right. But the showcase, the class card showcase, I do have it on the docket for Tuesday at 3 p.m. I'm hoping that everything is designed by then. That is my goal. And we'll do the showcase at 3 p.m. And if for any reason Reindeer Fun is taking me longer to design, I might have to just push it out a little bit. But my goal is to have the showcase done before Tyler is done with work on Tuesday. And so that's coming up for us is a showcase. And then it's already working. It's crazy how fast November will be here. So we do have class on Monday night. I should say actually 2 classes on Monday. Monday at 1, we have the Let's Just Stamp, and that features the Regal Flora. And the PDF is being written as we speak. Jolene's working on it. Well, maybe not. She's kind of monitoring things now. But the PDF will be coming by the end of the week for that. And then the Season of Green and Gold will be Monday night at 6. Yes, I have 2 online classes on the same day. That is because I leave on Wednesday for a wedding in San Diego. One of my best friends from high school is getting married. So I won't be teaching class next Thursday night. Actually, Kelly will be doing paper pumpkin class next Thursday. So we have a double header on Monday, and then the showcase on Tuesday, and then Kelly on Wednesday. I'm sorry, Thursday. And I have these 3 pumpkins here, just in case you guys see them. Those are 3 from June, in case anybody's still looking for the June pumpkins. I have 3 left, and I have maybe 10 of the Nests of Winter paper pumpkin. It coordinates with the Nests of Winter, and those are going to be delivered here momentarily. I think that they all shipped already, and I might be seeing them as early as Monday, and if they arrive by Monday, I'll have them all stacked there. And if you guys missed out on getting your pumpkins and you want to get them from me, just reach out to me. I'll have some back there. Did you make, let's see here, did you make the card you're going to give me to? Oh, Jolene, you are funny. Oh, man. So Jolene's question is, did you make the card you're giving her for her wedding? We need to see. So that's funny. That question's funny only because I'm a JITer. That means just in time. And I haven't even thought about a wedding card. Tyler did come to me yesterday and he said, we need to start thinking about a gift for her. And I said, you know what? People always appreciate money for gifts, and he likes to give gifts for the remembrance of it. So we're kind of trying to figure out how we can do both, give them a memorable gift, but also give them cash or, you know what I mean, funds to help for things, because they're eventually going to be, I think the thought is they're moving from San Diego to Seattle. so yeah, I don't know. So speaking of a card though, hi Kathy Scholter, I have not made the card. I have back in that little area right where you see all those, the red and white, those bags, there's a card stand here. That's a turnstile from cards. And so I generally will go shopping from myself to go find existing cards that are already made, that I have extra from when I do classes, instead of making a one-off card. We, on a monthly basis, can design 10 to 20 cards, depending on how many classes. Well, I would say 15 to 20 cards, depending if there's 4 and 4 and 3 and 3. What is that? 8 and 6, 14. So we always are designing 14 cards. So I'm designing cards throughout the month, and however I can utilize those cards in my personal life to use, that's where that's at. So long story short, Jolene, if I pick out a card by Monday, help me remember, and I'll pick out the card I'm going to give her by Monday, and I'll show you the card because she doesn't watch me, so I know I'm not worried about that. But yes, so it'll arrive. We'll figure it out. So all right, I have my book in front of me. So really quick before I drop the camera down, we're going to do roll call. For the October monthly class, I'm going to give you guys my names here. Thank you to everybody who registered to take this class with me via getting kits. This was a class you could pay for, or you could get it free with a minimum order. I have right now only 3 left of this class. And that means that they're not going to go, like, they're not going to be around forever. They're going to be gone fast. And I actually think it might be even less than that. There's a couple gals that are on my radar yet to get back to, Catherine and Susan. And they are from a window of when I was still working on my emails from the 24th through the 30th. And I owe them an answer back. And I think in their list, they have some classes that they want. So I might have only 1 or 2 left. And I would love if you don't have your name on the list and you already have signed up and I maybe missed you, please let me know immediately, like today or tomorrow, just so that I don't accidentally let all the kits slip away before I give you yours, because then that means that me or one of my helpers are going to be kitting up 1 set of cards. So, all right. First on our list is Miss Pat Fleming, and then we have Brenda Cottrell, Sandy Wicklander, Sherry Everett, Shirley Malarkey, Donna Grushke, Cindy Ettringer, Jeannie Parker, Julie Bierschbach, Annette Rowland, Sheila Roberts, Debbie Guest, Sandy Coy Emery, Vera Anderson, Mary Lemke, Debbie Ebersbacher, Connie Moore, Angelique McClendon, Laura Sullivan, Phyllis Oderman, Nedra Dover, Sarah Merchant, Feline Mays, Lynn Beasley, Shelley Cooper, Leslie McMinn, Karen Woods, Kate Race, Linda Scott, Debbie Stone, Linda Hunt. First time for Glenda Rivadeneira. I'll try that again out loud. Glenda, which I have, Rivadeneira. Okay, this is her first class. You guys give her a shout out. And her name, I probably butchered it. Vicky Rodriguez, Fancy Nancy Billets, Karuna, Linda Rios, Angela Knutson, Susan Bellamy, Bonnie Lesbrance, Barb Kroll, Jennifer Jones, Pat Gellings, Jean Vassell, and Doris Munson. And again, if I did not read off your name, please let me know right away, especially if you've signed up or placed an order to get this class for free. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. I found that between the 2 weeks before the event up until now, there are still things that I'm catching that didn't get done 100% the way that I would have loved them to, and I have to like come to terms with that, and I'm okay with that because I am only one person like managing the back end stuff like this, and I just want to make sure I make it right. So we did also find during this class, and for those that got the PDF tutorial, for those that are signed up, you got the PDF tutorial, all but maybe 2 of you. I think I still need to send it to maybe 3 of you. But the email I sent yesterday by about noon or 1 o'clock or 11 o'clock, it had a big highlighting in there that said that there were a couple things that we missed from in the kits. Not major things. They're very, I think in my mind, minor stuff that I wish that we wouldn't have missed, but we still missed it, and that's okay. One is a little slip of white paper, a little label that is a 3/4 inch by about 3 inch, and I think most people have white paper that they can make that work. And the other is we missed embossing the trees. The trees are die cut, and they look great. They're just not embossed, and so we're going to talk about that. But just know you should go back to that email. I highlighted it in pink, right? Not yellow. Pink is prettier. So I highlighted it in pink so you guys can see that. At the end of class, we'll go through and we will do a door prize drawing for somebody who placed an order to get the class for free. So I have that already counted out. And let's just drop down here and show you guys. Hi, Vonda. And there is, yep, perfect. You guys are welcoming Glenda. I love it. Okay, so I'll show you first what's coming up for the monthly class. This is amazing. Let me straighten this for a moment here. Hang on one moment, please. That looks like, there we go. Okay, so we love this one. The sophisticated sled. And it's just, you guys, the video that you're seeing right now of this doesn't even do it justice. To see this card in person is just a little bit more amazing. And we got to pull out some of the new products that are part of the pre-order. These gems look like this. Oh, man down. The gems look like this. They're part of that otter. So for those that are demonstrators, you are part of the pre-order and you could have ordered these right now. And for those that aren't demonstrators, they'll be available starting in November, the first week of November. I can't remember if it's the 4th, 5th, or 6th, but they're the gems here. And then some of this cording, it's pool party satiny cording, and it really accented our skates that are out of peacock. And then we have a snowy background with a snow hill, and I'm staring at it, you guys. I just love it. And then we've got a cardinal on the inside and a very pretty Christmas card for you. This is, again, now the monthly class for November. So for October, generally we usually make 60 for the monthly class. All year long, it's been 60. And I know that with Christmas cards, they tend to fly a little faster. Thanks for sharing, Sherry. They fly a little faster. So we kitted 64 for October. So I'm planning to do 64 again for November. And then this one is our decorative trees. So on this one, you guys, think of the die cutters right now. All you need is a sentiment. All of this stuff will be die cut for you. So it's assembly. And then for this one, you need a stamp for your little tag that goes on your tree, and then a stamp there. And this features the Sentimental Christmas Designer Series paper. And then that die cutting will be done for you. And then the last card is our birdhouse card. So we did another birdhouse card. We had to find an excuse to use some of that green glimmer paper to kind of do an accent here. And then we threw in some of those stones that are part of the outer set here. So the ones on the bottom here are more opalescent. Iridescent, something like that. So that is what we've got for another little Christmas card with the birdhouse, to try to pull that in. Now, I'll be honest, what we did for the Wounded Warrior benefit, you guys, the birdhouse card on that with the book card, I just love that card, and nothing will be better than that card in my mind. And so nothing will that card is just awesome. I love it. So it was really hard to pull out the birdhouse again and try to be creative with a Christmas card. But I think that we did okay on this guy. I like it. And all you need is a bird and then a sentiment, and everything else is going to be buttoned up for you. I couldn't find my 1/4-inch hole punch, and we need to put a little crumb cake perch right there for the bird to be looking at. But yeah, so that's what we have for the November. Yeah, aren't they beautiful, Laura? I definitely agree. Oh, that sled one though is just amazing. Love it, love it. So we got the monthly class ready for you guys. I bet you'll sell more of these. So yeah, so I'm wondering, that's where, now that you guys are seeing this, a bunch of you are seeing this, if you don't normally get classes from me, or you don't always get the monthly class, and you think you might be getting it, you might let me know so that I can maybe forecast a little bit higher. I was planning to do 64, but if I hear a good response that people are like, yeah, I want to get this one, I want to get this one, in the next day or two, I might just up that to 68 and have an extra 4 so that people don't have, I don't have to tell people no. So, all right, let me flip back down so you guys can see here. Hi, Doris. Yes, perfect. We can get you signed up. Love them. We'll add to, perfect. Kathleen will add to her order too. So these are the stamp sets. It's a Sophisticated Sled, Country Birdhouse, and then the other one is called Decorative Tree, and that I didn't bring over here. Oh, wait. Nope, not here. Okay. So the other thing for you guys to know is that Kelly did a class this morning for me. It was supposed to be tomorrow, but she brought it back. She helped me today. She worked in the hive today, working on some of the stuff for taking photographs, and she was just here helping me out with stuff. And I asked her, would you like to do the kit class for me? And she said she would. So if you guys missed it, Kelly was live this morning. So we had another double header today. She went through this right here, talking about the journal. And so I don't know if she actually did much with it. Oh, she did. She put some things in. So very cool. So she did some things. This is one of the new kits for the month of October. And there's a lot of die cuts in here. So if you guys feeling like this might be something you're interested in, definitely check out the video that Kelly has from this morning. It's called a Look Back Kit. And then she also did the Alpine Adventure Kit. And so she made these cards, Thinking of You. So in the kit class, we generally make all the cards. And so you got 3 like this. And for those that didn't see this yet, this just got, I think it launched last week. And then there's some happy birthday ones. 3 of those. And then there's 3 of Let Yourself Dream Big. And so that's what was in this kit. It came with some stamps, some general sentiment stamps. Comes with a block and a Misty Moonlight stamping spot. And then for my team meeting that I did this past weekend, I generally take one of the new kits and we zhuzh it up just a bit. And instead of it being a kit as the kit is, what I do is we put it on a base. So this is how we zhuzhed it up. We added a Misty Moonlight and a white inside. And then we took the card base and cut it apart and put that as a mat on the front. And we added a little ribbon. So that was one card. And then this one we added the shaded spruce base and then a white inside. And we added a little bit of the navy ribbon from the back there. So that 3-twine combo pack is what we added into this one. And then this one used the copper clay one, and we added a white base and then cut the top apart and then put it like that. So that's how we zhuzhed these up. And oh, she did a great job. All right, very good. I'm so happy to hear that you guys think she did good. I did not sign up for this. I love the November monthly cards. Perfect. Kari says love them, but especially the skates. I know that skate card is amazing. All right, so you guys, there's some more ideas on that. And again, you can watch Kelly. She did the class this morning. If you guys want to see some Happy Mail, now's your time too. Well, you guys always love it when I show Happy Mail. This one's from Trisha Fagley. So Trish has been doing the customer swap now for a couple months. And so she sent me a thank you card with it, which is awesome because then now I can use this. It's a pretty little matching envelope. That was a paper pumpkin from a couple years ago. So Trish, that came from you. Yay. And then you guys, I had my team swap party on Sunday. So I'm going to roll through these really quick too so that you can see what the team has been making here for their swap cards. You guys, Karen Forward knocked it out of the ballpark with this one from Reindeer Fun. Yes, she only made 7, right? 7 was the number, so it wasn't crazy amount, but she did die cut all those pieces to do 7. And she's got Rudolph right in the middle there with a little red sparkly nose, and how she colored all of the bulbs here of the light string is super cool. So that one was Karen Forward's card. And then Tracy Sorge had the Splendid Autumn, and she made a Grateful for You card using some of the autumn, or those gold leaves, and then the designer paper there, and a little bit of the wild wheat ribbon. So it was Tracy Sorge. This one is Mary Lemke, and she had the Nests of Winter Sweet, and she has the Spotlight in Nature circle with her birds on a branch with some of the cherry cobbler ribbon. And then she added some of the copper ribbon as well. So this is a two ribbon card, and then some of the earth tone gems. Hi, Gwen Simmons, beaming in from Southern California. Yay, perfect. This one is from Tabitha Lawson, and she had Season of Elegance and the use of the 2x2 designer paper cut into squares and kind of haphazardly put on here with the pretty trees. And so that's Tabitha's. Then this is the one that I did I had Snowy Wonders, and I used the designer paper. I let the snow globes from the designer paper do all the work for me. And we just matted it on some white and then the designer paper and added a little silver trim and a sentiment for it. And then this was Leslie McMinn's, and she had Sentimental Wishes or Sentimental Christmas Week. Cute, look at that cutesy little bow she did right on that stocking. So cute. So it looks like she utilized the designer series paper here. And then that pattern of green is one of my favorite ones from that pack of paper. And I just feel like I gotta open this up and see what's on the inside. Okay. It felt thick, and it is, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers and a bow, and then she used the druzy gems on there. And it says, have a very Merry Christmas. So that was very awesome, sentimental. And then here's another one of my snow globes. So when I did mine, I used all the different snow globes from the designer series paper. So easy way, just, there's no dye for it, so you have to cut them out by hand, fussy cut, and then kind of made them similar. Some had that background and some had that background, because we ran out of that background, because this background these are the same piece of paper, front and back. All right, then we had some bundle swapping, and so this was not in a suite, and this was made by Mary Lemke, and it featured Humble Home, and she added some of the Reindeer Fun designer paper and the earth tone gems, and then the birch embossing folder, and then Spotlight in Nature. And this one comes to us from Jay Shante, Harshaw, Wisconsin. She had the light the year, light the way, light the something. I can't ever remember this one. Sending love and light this time of year. And she stamped that and added a little pine cone, a little silver trim on here. So that was from Jay Shante. This one is the one I did with the help of Chris Duderenke. She helped me make these. I chose nothing, or more than autumn. I think it's called More Than Autumn. And I have nothing's better than, and then autumn stamped there. And from doing your Fun Folds cards for you guys, we did not utilize this sunflowery pattern. And so I had 20 sheets of this left. And so we made them into my swap cards and got the whole image to be the focal front part of the card. And then added a little bit of the wild wheat ribbon and the gold gems. And yeah, nothing's better than autumn. And then this one was from Leslie McMinn using the Frozen Edges bundle and Spotlight on Nature dies with the silver ribbon here. And she did Versamark. It's hard to see it on the camera here, but she stamped the snowflakes in Versamark in the background here. So you can see them at a certain angle, which is cool. That's using Versamark to do that. And then she die cut a bunch of the silver and glimmery white snowflakes and added them to the front. That one's Leslie. Okay, so I wanted to share those with you guys. I thought to myself, I need to start sharing these swap cards in the moment. Otherwise, they don't get shared very fastly. And so you guys always like to see them. So I'm going to keep making sure I show them. And I showed these cards last week, but these were from my customer swap. So the customer swap doesn't have to use, it has to use at least one Stampin' Up! Stamp that's current, and then other Stampin' Up! Product, but it can pull in other things because you guys use everything, right? I totally get that. So with the customer swap, you're allowed to use other brands of products. And so some of these things I might not know what's on them if people use other things. So this one is from, wow. And I gotta see if there's a name on here. If you're watching and this is yours, you can definitely shout it out from the rooftop. Oh, right, no, inspired. Oh yeah, Trish Fagley, perfect. Okay, I was gonna guess Trisha. So, and she's got it on the back here, super cool. So it was inspired by Rachel Tessman, and it's Trisha Fagley from Charlotte, North Carolina. And the theme is sympathy. So we have themes for the customer swap as well. And so what a pretty sympathy card. Using the New Horizons designer paper, yep. And then stamping some trees and the birds on there and having some of that black. A way to incorporate old with new, like retired with new product. And that's where the ribbon is new. And using vanilla, I love it. And then she's got transparent adhesive back dots. Very cool. Those are part of the To Market set. To Market, to buy a fat pig. All right. Hi, Vicki Rodriguez. And then this one from the customer swap. So what I do with my cards so as being the host, I get to keep one set of the cards and I donate the cards to a local nursing home or the senior center to just further utilize them so people will have love sent their way. That's what I like to do. I like to send the love on. So I don't know exactly who made this one because sometimes there's not always a name on the back. We try to, but double toil and trouble. This is from the Potions and the Spells. They used that green, the gumball. It looks like gumball green to me, the green glimmer paper here. But look at that inside. Super cool fun fold here. Super cool. All right, so that complete with a dimensional back. This one's from Elaine Rebeck, and she's from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. And she's got this beautiful Halloween card for us. And she used some of the Nested Essential dies and that green glimmer paper. It's so perfect for Halloween cards. And she's got Boo on the inside. So very cool. And then this one came to us from Leslie McMinn. So this was in with Leslie's swap cards. She did, it looks like the quilt, the barn quilt that you see when you drive by the barns that have quilts on them. It reminds me of a barn quilt. It's super cool how she pieced all these little pieces are glued together, you guys. That's like a 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch, if I had to guess right there. And she glued it together to make a quilt. So yes, and you guys, I know you can't see it, but she used a glitter pen. When you hold this in the light just right, it's sparkly. The entire ink pen is sparkly. So Leslie, do they make that in purple? Because I want it. It's so cool. Okay. All right. Then here's another card. This one is, I don't know if there's gonna be a name on it. This was part of the customer swap as well. And so we use some pretty black and white designer paper with some of the cherry cobbler, or this is real red ribbon that came, I think, with the pack with green and red. And then adding a strip of designer paper, offsetting 2 rectangles. Very cool. And then these were cards I cased from Angelique and Leslie, which I showed off during Fun Fold. So we're good there. All right. So I think we've oh, no, you guys, one moment, please. We're going to take just another minute and show you a few more cards because we have more cards to share. So this one comes to us from Gail Barden. You make me proud. Gail joined Tracy Sorge's team, and they're both Be Happy Stampers. And so I got this. Thank you, so you guys. So I've loved reading it. Thank you so much for hosting the Autumn Escape and the Wounded Warrior Card Benefit, 2 back-to-back incredible events. I've learned so much from you in the few short months. You are an inspiration to us all. So I got that, Gail. I love it. Thank you so much. And then this one is from Elaine Rebeck, Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. She always, without fails, sends me a card for every holiday, you guys. I think, Elaine, you've been doing that for years now. And so it's nice to be remembered with a card all the time. So, Team Edward, until Jacob takes off his shirt. And so, a little vampire, the Twilight series, you guys. I went through my whole spell of, I did read all the Twilight books, and then I watched all the movies. So, and then Laura, oh, who is this? This is from Laura Sullivan. Okay, yes. So Laura, we were talking about how Laura paid $5.65 to send this card. And she's like, does your post office charge that much for a card like this? And I said, what they did is they thought it was more than a 1/4 inch. And to me, I would have popped this in an envelope and my post office would have mailed it for a normal postage stamp. But for some reason, they wanted to charge her $5.65. So look at this beautiful card though. When you flip this up, it says sending love, and then it's one of these guys where it goes like that, and then a little strip of designer paper. I always love this layout of a card. It's fun, and it's a little different. And then she used the Regal Flora Designer Series paper and added her flap to the envelope. So very cool, and she's got it so I can use it. So that came, Laura. Thank you, thank you. I'm so sorry that costs almost $6 for shipping too, because that is ridiculous to me. This, I would have shipped this in an envelope in my post office. It would have gone right out, and it would have been whatever stamps cost right now. Okay, so there's what we have. If you guys missed it, I have about 12 left of the Sentimental Christmas class that we did this last Friday. So a week ago, we did these cards. And I have about, I don't know, 12 to 13 left now. So just know you can get signed up for that. I do not have any of the fun folds that we did last week. The last set of those cards went out earlier this week, or got accounted for earlier this week. So they are long gone. So we're going to work on these today, though. I thought Snowy Wonder did have dies that cut the snow globes. Oh, you know what? Sandy, that is very possible. That is very possible that they do. I guess I don't have the dies handy with me right now. But now that I think about it, there's a snow globe, but I thought it cut out like the circly part and then flat on the bottom for the snow globe. I'd have to look that up. So we are going to be doing these 3 cards. So for those of you who did the Winter Autumn Creative Escape with me, you might recognize this one because this was a double dipper for me where we did this for the escape and then we're doing it now for class. This is the card, and this is the card, you guys, where we missed cutting the white piece of paper. So for those at home doing your cards right now, or you know you're going to be getting these kits, you can go ahead and cut a 3/4 by, it's 2 7/8. Now, for people who have not gotten their card kits mailed prior to today, or like prior, I should say, like if your kits were with me yet on Monday or Tuesday, like Donna Grushki, Susan Bellamy, there's like maybe 3 more people. I went through and I did cut them, and I tried to make it right to anybody's kits for who were here yet. So I did not emboss the trees though, because then that was more, when we realized it, we're like, oh man, there's more. This is the card where it's Merriest Trees for die cutting, and we use painted trees to emboss the tree, and that is what we missed. So you have your tree, but it is not embossed, and you could use painted textures. You could use any evergreen looking for like fern embossing folder, and you could leave it blank too and not emboss it. So just so you guys know, I usually put an extra forever stamp on to cover thickness. Yes, that would work too. All right, what I wouldn't do though, like what Laura did, she went to the post office to mail it. For me, I would just put an extra stamp on and call it good. So, all right. what are we going to start with? Let's grab the card kits from wherever they might be. I just had them. Not here, not there. Ouchie daisy, where's they go? Oh, here, of course, to my right. So, you guys, your golden ticket will have on here October monthly class 10/17/24, which is today. And it also has the name of the class. So for those of you who are looking for your tutorial, look for October monthly class. And then if you're looking for the YouTube video, just remember it's 10/17. You keep this ticket with your kits, that'll help you with that. And we're gonna start with this one. We'll get warmed up. We'll do this one first, which is our Christmas labels first. And it looks like that. Christmas labels is a stamp set that has lots of words, and it has 4 dies that are labels. And I wonder if they're here. I can show them to you. They're kind of cool. Yeah, they're kind of cool. They are cool. They're not kinda. They are. All right, so there's only 4 though. And we used this one right here for that label. And when we did the fun folds with you guys last week, we used that die. That's where that fun fold one came from. But there's 4 dies in there with Christmas labels. And we did pull out Be Merry from here. And the sentiment that we put on the inside is celebrate the holidays in all the ways. And a little tree. That little tree got pulled from, we were talking about it. It's actually pulled from Snowy Wonder. There's a tree there. So that's where we pulled that from. And the ink colors that we're using for this one are Shaded Spruce. And you could also, if you want to add in another color, you could pull in Cherry Cobbler, but you wouldn't necessarily need to. And so we've got Shaded Spruce, and we need to have here the tree, which I've got. And we're going to pull in the sentiment, which is right there. And then celebrate in all the ways. And that guy is on a block over here. So I've got all my sentiments. If you don't have these exact sentiments, it's okay. Use the sentiments you have at home. I always tell you guys, buy what you love and use what you have. Okay, that's my motto. All right. You don't have to always have the stamps that we use for class. These are the gold gems, and you should have a big, a small, and a medium. And then you'll have the Shaded Spruce is embossed with your plaid embossing folder. Now just pick which side you like up. It could be either one. It's really your call. I like this side up instead of that side. So I'm gonna stick with that side up. And then you have this label, which we're gonna stamp Be Merry on. And now this is Vanilla. It was super cool. This is your designer paper. It's the real distressed paper. And then for your gold, you can see here what the gals did. They cut their stylish shapes out for you, and they cut the star out of the middle of here, which the star was then saved and put onto this card. But we've got, that gets covered up with that mat, and then this, and then that star should be set up that it's covered. You'll have a Vanilla inside. That's a normal 5 1/4 by white, 5 1/4 by 4. And you have 2 ribbons here. The Wild Wheat, which is currently out of stock, so you'll have to wait for that to come back in if you need to get that. But if you got the ink paper scissors from me in the month of September, you got a whole roll of this already. And I do have plenty of ink paper scissors left in case anybody wants to get any. So these ribbons are gonna like go right through the middle. And then you have a Cherry Cobbler card base with no bone folder. There's no bone folder. Oh, I stole my bone folder. I did class outside the house yesterday. I had 2 classes, one at Wells and one at Burgers and Beignets. So I'm gonna go look for my bone folder really quick. The ruler was okay, but I don't want to wreck the paper, so this has a little bit softer of an edge. So there, back on track. Let's do our stamping first. I think that'll be important to get that done because then we can go into all on focus of assembly mode. So Be Merry will go on the Vanilla. Now if you need to practice or if you're using a red rubber stamp, you might go to the back first because you don't want to necessarily stamp it bad on the front without practicing. Okay, so there's our Be Merry. And then on the inside here, we have Celebrate the Holidays in All of the Ways. And that will go right there. So this stamp is designed to go with the label. And then I have a tree. And we're going to put that little guy. He was an afterthought because there's no focal images in this stamp set. That's all words. So we wanted to find a tree or something festive to put on the inside. And that tree can go down right there. Cool beans. Now, this ink pad needs some assistance. It needs to get re-inked. So I'm going to set it off to the side. And then we can do a little bit of assembly. Not too much, but we'll go step by step so you guys don't do anything too fast. So this one gets liquid glue. So let's go ahead. Hi, Maria Gilbertson. This one is going to go on the inside. So that's easy enough. Just like so. And there is an order to the outside. Okay, so there's that. Now, with foil, I don't like to always use liquid glue because it smears around. So tear and tape is, I think, personally better. It's a little thinner than glue dots. And the thing, though, with using tear and tape is you have to be careful when you're setting it down because you don't really get a lot of wiggle room. Where with liquid glue on foil, it'll I guess you could say wiggle, wiggle, wiggle with it, right? So we're going to do this for now. And when you set this down, you've got to be pretty good about getting it lined up. So I'm eyeballing the top, the bottom, and the left, making sure I'm straight across here. And then I'm setting it down. Now, the top and the bottom and the left are about equal. I have a hair more of gold on the right side. And if you're not picky, you could leave it. And if you're picky, you would cut it off, right? I guess it's really your call. But it's for mine, it's like such a micro amount, but it's a hair. So I'm going to trim my hair off. Okay, now on the back side here, this is ultimately going to get popped up. So we could stage this with dimensionals. And I want to see if I have big dimensionals. I got a whole bunch of them right here, complete with a glue dot, making a problem for me right there. Okay, let's find some big ones here. These are from one of the kits, the Alpine kits. So we're going to stage this with dimensionals. All right, then ultimately this satin ribbon, it's really pretty. It's part of the online exclusives, meaning you can only see it by shopping in the online catalog. So I'm going to flip this over and stage the back with tear and tape. I'm going to grab 2 for waiting in the wings for later. If you need to get a ruler, you can, but ultimately you just want this centered top to bottom. And I like to look at the front of it while I do it. And then just knowing that the tape is back there, just flip those ends over like that. And then we're going to stage this. Okay, so now that that's down, now this can go down, okay? Because the goldy ribbon, the wild wheat ribbon, actually goes over the top of this. Now, you can change it up and do it however you want to. You don't have to do it the same way I'm doing it. But I'm going to just center this top to bottom, left to right, like that. Okay, and then our little gold circle can get glued down, or you can use tear and tape. Now, I've found that when you put liquid glue with foil, there's something with the liquid glue, it kind of raises up the foil. So I personally am going to use, you could use glue dots too, but I'm going to use some tear and tape. And that just goes right, centered top to bottom, left to right, like that. You want to make sure that star stays right in the middle. All right, then we have this label. Now, we weren't too stingy on the ribbon. We gave you enough to go across the whole way. So these are cool because they have these die cuts on the side. So you can run your ribbon down like that, pull it through the back, and then you can pop it up on the other side. Pop it up, right, like that. Isn't that awesome? So like the ribbon runs through it, right? Like the river runs through it, the ribbon runs through it. Then we can flip this over, and what we can do now is create a track. So for the dimensionals, what you could do on the side, I always love to use these side pieces and cut them. And these could be what we use along the top here and the bottom of our track. And then you can hover over the top, complete with a cat fur that covers up that hole from the star. And just put that right over the top. And now we can wiggle our ribbon. Hopefully our ribbon is centered. If it's not, we can always adjust this by, let's see here. I didn't push it down really hard. I wasn't looking at the ribbon while I was doing it. So, hang on. We're going to adjust as necessary. I want my ribbon to be centered here as well, as best as it can be. So here's what's happening. I don't know if this is going to happen for you guys too. I'm going to leave this like that, and ultimately, if you don't have your ribbon centered, what you can do is adjust the vanilla ribbon. And maybe that is what I remember when I made that. I'm like, oh man, it's going to be really hard to center it nicely. So let's get that guy down a little bit. And now that'll come out like that. And then we're going to adjust this one too. I'm just going to pull it, and then we can bring it down a hair. There it is. So then this shoots right through the middle. Now, if you wanted to just use vanilla paper, you could always use vanilla paper instead of using ribbon. But the ribbon actually gives it this nice satiny look. All right, so that's kind of back on track for what we want, right? So now we can pick these off. And then the yellow ribbon, or the goldy ribbon, it's actually wild wheat, but it looks like gold. That can get flipped over. See, that kind of lines up now. And then this one, there. So it's important that that vanilla ribbon doesn't necessarily have to be centered. It just has to be kind of lined up to go straight across. And you might end up having your circle higher or lower. You're gonna have to work with it. Work with it, okay? So let's grab another. So this is a triple decker sandwich here. It's not just a tear and tape sandwich. So now that you can pick those off, and then you add liquid glue everywhere else. And that goes right onto the front of the card. And that cherry base really pulls out and makes the designer paper pop. Push down on those spots where the ribbon are. And then you have a big, a small, and then a medium. So I put the big and the small together over there, and I put the medium over by itself over there. Hi, Anna Carter. And there you go. So what could you Stella? There's a lot of that gold foil there. You got the money shot right there. It's so pretty. The gold foil really stands out. You could, if you wanted, you could Stella your designer series paper, and that would make it a little bit more shimmery. You could also, if you wanted, Stella the embossed, and you could also Stella your ribbon like that. So nice, simple, easy layout. So I was talking to Karen Wetstein about it, and she said these are the layouts that she really likes because these are easily reproducible. They're an easier layout that you can, if you need a quick card, that you can add your designer paper and emboss mat, something centered here, like with a little circle and a little sentiment. Easy, easy peasy. Perfect. Thanks, Anna. All right, well, there's our first one. Then there was another one, and the next one is going to be from the envelope over here. Okay, let's do the tree one. All right, so there's a reason this one's got my name on it, you guys. This is a special card. There's something up with it. We'll find out momentarily why. So this one looks like this. It's the other vanilla envelope. And when you open it up, you've got some festive pearl action going on. So when we were designing this card, the festive pearls were put on the clearance rack. Oh, thanks, Sandy. Don't forget the thumbs up. I appreciate it. The festive pearls were on the clearance rack. And we thought that they would make the best little ornaments for your Christmas tree. So you've got 6 of them. 3 for the top, 3 for the bottom, different mixture of colors. There's only 4 colors in there, so you've got 2 that got duplicated, I think. But yes, one of my gals did cut all the gems apart and put them all in here. So just be careful opening it up. And then we've got the cutest crochet or cute crochet embossing folder, which is really cool. You have your gold star in here. You have a little sentiment strip for across the front of your tree. And now this is where we are sad and sorry. We did not emboss your Christmas tree. Where on this one, it is embossed. Now, I'm going to try something. And you guys might be like, whoa, why is she doing that? But we're going to see what happens. So it's just got rough texture, right? So what would be so bad? Just going to do it. What would be so bad if we just take this tree like this and do this to it? Right? Just putting it out there. And now when you open it up, and then you flatten it out with your bone folder, you've got texture. Now, you've got texture lines going different ways, but now I'm gonna make them go this way, and go this way, and this way. I'm gonna make this tree look just like that one by using my fingers to do it. Now, if this is something like Karen Wetstein is probably like, no, don't do it, don't do it. She can't stand this, she hates it. Because this is called the crumple up embossing folder technique. But, okay, so I'm trying not to have so many lines. And then take your bone folder. For those of you at home that don't have an embossing folder, this is what you could do. And look at this. When this is all said and done, you're going to have your own painted texture tree. One of a kind, one of a kind. All right, so you have your little sentiment strip. I did do that. So some of you guys have seen me do that in the past. And I know that you might cringe. But here's a little tree stand for our Christmas tree. And then this is a little piece of vanilla that we rounded the corners. We used a retired punch called the Detailed Trio Punch to round our corners. There was also a Project Life corner rounder, which you could do too. So the designer paper comes from the Regal Flora. And that will go at the bottom here. And then this will go here, there. A piece of vanilla for our bottom, or our inside. And then you have your pretty peacock and gold ribbon, which is a perfect accent with this one. You guys are shaking in your boots and laughing out loud. Melanie Foy says, I don't know why your kid, oh no. Hi, Melanie Foy. It's all good, you guys, it's all good. That was not my first time doing that, so I thought I might as well show you that technique in case it might come in handy for you sometime in the future, right? All right, I need my blocks here. So all my blocks seem to be dispersed around everywhere, but not exactly right here. So we are going to take this off, flip it there, and put this on. And grab our pretty peacock ink. Let's do our stampy first. On the inside, we have this guy. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. And that is in the shape of a tree. And they did that on purpose because these dies have the outline of the tree, and you could actually die cut that in, let's say, green, and then stamp this with Versamark and gold embossing powder, and you could stamp it, and it fits inside the tree, which is super cool. And then we have another little tree. I lost the tree, the trace container. What is the TRES? Trace is 3 to me, so I lost the trees container. All right, so we're going to put, so in here on the bottom, oh, look at this. I put the big tree there. And I put the little tree probably on the other card, but they're fine. They're interchangeable. So this little tree is also from that snowman set. So be careful when you get ink on the corner of your block like that. You got to be very careful not to rock your stamp when you're stamping, because that will end up right on your sheet of paper, just like this. So when you rock, you end up getting the ink over there. So you got to be very careful with that. And I don't like the crumble method either. Sandy Coy Emery, totally get it. I completely understand. Totally get it. So for those of you at home that do not want to do the crumple technique, just know there is a embossing folder in the new mini. It's called Painted Trees. And there's different heights of trees. What we did for this card specifically is we put that inside the biggest tree, and then that embossed it to make it look like greenery. Now, in the past, there was an evergreen tree set from like 2 years ago. Not a tree set, but an embossing folder. You could also use painted textures, and you could use the fern embossing folder. So there's lots of different options. For those of you at home that got this, that want it embossed, you can definitely make it happen. I hope you can. I hope you can. Tree story. You lost the tree container. Okay, so I'm going to take a sponge dauber, and we're going to just dauber the edge of our, I don't like to do it with something underneath in case little sponge particles fall down. So we're gonna go like this. And all we're doing is, I used to do this a lot, back many moons ago when I first started stamping in like 1800. I did a lot of this. No, it was like 2000, but it feels like that long ago, right? I did a lot of sponging around the edges. And then if you accidentally go too far in, then you intentionally start to do that more. And then all of a sudden you've got this cool border that like highlights the edging, right? So now that we have one more thing to stamp, this says, hoping your home is filled with the spirit of the season. So Merriest Trees looks like this. It was part of the holiday mini catalog from last year, and it carried over into the annual catalog. So there's some tree, this, you could stamp this and then emboss this over the top with white, which would make it look like there's snow on it. And that's where the sentiment came from. They have little presents in here, and there's a little tree trunk for your tree if you want it. So that's where that sentiment comes from. And we're going to be using the Pretty Peacocks. Yes, painted texture works great. So I appreciate everybody who's going to be able to emboss their own. I think your tree crumble came out cute. Yes, and you guys, when the whole card gets put together, I think it will be A-okay. Okay, but it does feel completely wrong and incorrect to take paper, perfectly good paper, and crumple it. It really does not feel right. So I can understand why people don't like it. All right, there's our sentiment. That's it for the peacock. I remember when that was a big, didn't like it then either. Yep. We've done it a few times. You guys, when we did our early on Let's Just Stamp classes, we were really strict with ourselves that we did not use embossing folders or die cuts. And that class started off about, what, 3 years ago? It was July of 3 years ago. And I think for the first year, we did not do any embossing or die cutting. And what we would do is do the crumple thing, because I remember there's a wildlife class, a wild wilderness class with, there was a wolf and there was a bear and there was something else. And that might have been current even last year, but we crumpled up paper in that class. And that's when I learned people don't like it. So people who got kits from me, what they would do is they would go home and emboss it with their own embossing folders when they got the to-go kits. And in class, if people didn't want it, I think Diane had embossing folders here. But we were really trying not to use embossing folders. We were trying to make that class appeal to people who are really beginners, that they don't have those tools like die cutting machines, embossing folders, dies. All right, tear and tape sandwich on the back here. Put the little bit of tape and then Your ribbon will go straight across here. And again, I like to look at it from the front so that I can make sure it's straight, like that. And then grab the tape back. And then what we're gonna do is adhere that to our card front, like this. Perfecto, changeo. So crumb cake and peacock. I do like that color combination a lot. Push down where you put the tear-in tape. That will really secure the ribbon. Now for this one, we're gonna pop it up. And then we'll also pop up the tree. And then our little stand. Now if you really wanted to, you could take brown ink, like espresso or crumb cake, and sponge over the top of this to make it a little darker. That would be an option as well. I'm just gonna take 2 dimensionals like that, 2 scoops, and then figure out what you want for the back and the front of this guy. All right, lots of dimensionals. Why not, right? And we'll pop up our vanilla piece. Pretty much have that centered top to bottom and left to right. Sticky, sticky, sticky. All right, there we go. Something like that. And then what we're gonna do is put our tree stand down near the bottom so it's grounded. And then this will hover over the top of it. It goes close to the top, but not all the way, because you want to leave a little bit of room for your beautiful star here. So that is not popped up here. So it doesn't have any emotional support. So what you got a couple options. What you could do is if you have a small dimensional, you could put it right at the tippy top here. Oh, it didn't want to stay. Put that at the tippy top. It doesn't matter if it goes out a little bit because the star is going to help cover it up. But I wouldn't put another dimensional back here. I would actually use a glue dot, or AKA non-committal dot. Put that right behind here. And that star is now planted on the top of your Christmas tree. And it might be better just down a hair. There it is. Perfect. So I've got it so that it kind of is flush with the top, and then you're flush at the bottom. And then our label goes right through the middle, and I won't need more dimensionals here. I wonder if I have space for, so that is about the same width as our label, the rounded label. I'm thinking I'm going to do is put a dimensional right there and right there, right on the ends. So that helps support the ends. And then we're going to run a little bit of liquid glue right through the middle. And then find the perfect spot for it. And that goes straight across like that. Try to keep it straight. I mean, unless you intentionally want it crooked, that's fine too. Whatever you want. Now, I've got 2 silvers, 2 golds, a red, and a bluish one. So I want to make sure my golds are not next to each other. So I got them angly like that. And I've got 2 silvers. So I'm going to put one there and one over there. And then I have a red one and a slate colored one. So put the slate one there. You guys, you hate all these little things. As somebody was saying in class the other night, they hate all these little things when we have them cut like that. Oh, they're hard to work with. I understand. I can feel the pain right now. All right. I'll move you over a hair. And there we go. So we had a discussion, you guys. Do we put 6 gems on your card? Because that's an even amount. If we put 5, it was too few. We put 7, it was too much. And when we did 6, it was just right. So it doesn't look like oddness. It's because you have your star up here, and your star counts as a, we'll count it as a gem tonight. So then you have 7. Okay, then there was Stella. And you can Stella your Christmas tree. Go to town on your Christmas tree. Get the glitter all over that. And then I'll show you a side-by-side comparison of my embossed tree done by my hands and then the embossed tree by the machine. All right, so So here's our side by side. Can you tell much of a difference? Can you? Maybe. The side on the right, it's just a little bit more. Yeah, you can see a little more definition, but mine works too. So there you go. It did come out perfect for me, especially under the circumstances. Alrighty, Aphrodites. So, buttons on your underwear. We've got 2 done. 2 scoops. On to the last one. And the last one's going to make us work for it. Work for it. Work for it. We have the Amaryllis. It's called Artful Amaryllis, and it is the white envelope. This set looks like, this right here. Things that make you go, Artful Amaryllis. Amaryllis is a really hard word to spell. Ask Kelly. She's like, gosh, I can never figure out how to spell Amaryllis. It's like Amaryllis. Yep. Amaryllis. Lillis. Like there's 2 L's. Okay. So with this, you guys, I have to share with you. It is our set that we're going to feature for Let's Just Stamp for November, which I've shared them with you. I think I shared them last week. But if you didn't see them, I will share them right now. Give me 30 seconds. I got to go grab them off the counter over here. And now I'm starting to wonder, did I maybe not share these cards with you guys yet? Because we designed these on, I might have shared them Thursday night. I don't remember. I'm trying to remember when we designed them. So Artful Amaryllis is what we use for the monthly class right now, tonight, which heavily featured the die cuts from this set. These flowers, they remind me of the daffodil. There was a daffodil set from 2 years ago that really featured lots of petals and layers and all that good stuff. And that's what this reminds me of. So we definitely utilized the die cuts for the monthly class. Now for Let's Just Stamp again, we try not to use the dies. Excuse me. That frog is here. We try not to use the dies. So these cards are designed with a beginner in mind, meaning you might not have the dies or you you might not have those dies at home. We did pull in embossing on all of these, but on this one we used colored, so we used the focal image here and we used colored pencils to color them in. And we did it with beige and real red and then that in the inside. So if you guys haven't seen these, this is Let's Just Stamp for next month. All right, and it could be a Christmas card, right? If you just change up the sentiment, you can make it Christmassy. Then we went with garden green with beige. And in this time, we pulled in these stamps that fill in the color. So this is not colored in with a colored pencil. This is stamped, right? And adding some basic beige ribbon. Now Let's Just Stamp, we do a double matting. So that's why you got the double mats on the inside. And then the last card is a tie between the red and the green. I shouldn't say a tie. It's just like a mix of red and green. And in this sample too, we used that stamp focal image and stamped that in. And we used some of those earth tone gems on here. We did pull in some retired ribbon because we've been doing that now. And it was cool that designer paper got used. And so on this one, we made it a Christmas card. So the sentiments in here are, you made my day, thanks, hello, and then some innies. And that's what we used. So if you guys haven't seen this, this is Let's Just Stamp. And if you do not have Artful Amaryllis and you do not plan to get it, what else could you use? You get a palette here. You get a piece that is about a 4 by 2 3/4, and you could stamp whatever you wanted. But you've got the core. When you get these kits, you've got the core of the layout, and then you can use whatever you want for stamps. Now, did I show you guys I don't think I've shown you. You know what? I didn't show those cards to you guys at all because we designed those cards on Tuesday, 2 days ago, not last week. We just designed those on Tuesday, and I haven't been live since Monday. Was I even live Monday? I wasn't even live Monday. I had in-person classes on Monday. So you guys have not seen these yet. You guys are the first ones to see these. They're hot off the press. Well, they're not hot off the press anymore, but they were on Tuesday. Now, if you didn't see those, you didn't see these next ones either. So the next class here, I'm going to share with you. So this is for those that like to see ahead. So yes, Gwen, this one is from the Escape. This card you would have seen ahead of time. Like this one was from the Escape. The other three were just made on Tuesday. Now, we also got the Regal Reindeer ink, paper, scissors done. All right, so you guys would have seen this one because that's part of the escape. So you guys, if you did the escape with me, this feels like deja vu. This is my double dipper. And then we did this little guy. Isn't he adorbsy? Oh my goodness, he's so cute. So all you need on these are sentiments. So sentiment and a sentiment, because that's gonna be die cut for you. That's designer paper. And then we did this cute little card, and we added a little Velcro dot to it. So you guys, I got sidetracked. This is like big time squirrel going on. So we've got a Velcro dot there for you, and that helps to hold the card shut. And I got Bambi running through the forest with the greatest of ease. And then the last one is a belly band, and it opens like this and like that, complete with a gem on the back side I see here. All right, so we did a little bit of a gatefold card and added a belly band to it. And for this one, you just need to have the sentiment. So you guys are getting some sneaky peekies here. Could you use the daffodils set from in the past? You certainly could. Hi, Amy Langlois. So you certainly could. So just a sentiment here. All right, you guys. So now you got some sneak peeks of the showcase. We've got ink, paper, scissors, let's just stamp, and the monthly cards all done now for you. Yay. All right, back on track. So you could, if you wanted to recreate this card, yes, if you had the daffodil, you could die cut this. But I think, Vicki, your question is, could the daffodil be used on these cards, right? Definitely on this one. You would just opt for using yellow with the green. And this one too, you would use yellow, or you could do a different color daffodil. Now this one, with it being the red and green, daffodils could be Christmas-liked. I mean, you could. So I think so. You could definitely do that. Oh, and Angelique likes the reindeer. So you guys, yay! Okay, so you like the little sneaky peeks. Okay, back on track. Let's work on our amaryllis. So you will have the same gemsies in this one. They're gold, big, medium, and small. Then we have a piece of beige, all right? And then under the beige are all your bits and parts hiding. So you have two that go together. You have a little yellow inside. You have two more that go together. And then these two littlest ones go together. And your little stamen goes in the middle of that guy. Then you have the stalk or the stem and some leaf action here. I think Calming Camellia would work too. It sure would. I already know 3 classes I want to sign up for. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So there are 3 more classes that we're designing yet, right? So there's a little bit Festive Stamp-a-Stack, Reindeer Fun, and then a Season of Elegance are what's left on our docket yet for the next 5 days. We want to get them designed. All right. So when you get into here, you have your white inside, and then underneath the white, you'd have a piece of designer paper. You have your octagon from Countryside Corners that's already embossed. That we did do. That goes there. And then you have a mat where all your little bits and parts were cut out of. And that goes here. You have a little cherry cobbler ribbon, the cherry cobbler and gold ribbon. And then you have a garden green base. It's all about the base. No trouble. Keep your card vertical. Now, the one thing that's missing from here, and we talked about this at the beginning of class, is it's missing a 3/4 inch by 2 7/8 piece of white. But if you guys are like me, I gotta show you this. If you're like me, you might have a file folder like this at home, okay? And out fell a piece of paper that is probably the exact size that I need, all right? So you guys, hopefully you have something like this at home that you can go scrounging through the paper archives and find a scrap of white. Okay, please tell me that you guys are okay. Cutting a 3/4 inch piece that is by 2 7/8, and that was exact. I think that's a hair shorter, but it'll work. I don't have to cut the other side then. So if for any reason, I'm gonna put this out there, if for any reason somebody doesn't have white paper at home and they got a kit from me and they need me to send them a piece of white paper, I will put it in an envelope. I'll put a stamp on it and we'll send it your way. So we need a cherry cobbler, a Season of Wonder and Happiness. That sentiment comes from, I don't have it right next to me, but it's from Peaceful Season. The Peaceful Season, or the Season of Elegance, there's 2 bundles in it. It's not the one with the focal images, it's the one with the words. And I have it over there on the table, but any sentiment here that has to do with Christmassy is good. Hi, Mitzi Stanley. Hi, Suzanne Deppis. Suzanne, I sent you an email about tomorrow. So perfect. That's good for me. And then on the inside, we have wishing you a bright. So if you weren't a fan of the amaryllis, the one thing I do like about this, like these are whatever to me, right? These are generic flowers that you guys, we got lots of flowers. But sending happy thoughts, I love that. Wishing you a bright and beautiful Christmas. I love the font, the thanks and the hello, and you made my day. It was the fonts and the words that got me more with this set than this stuff. And then the dies, okay? I always love flower dies a lot. Okay, so that's good to go. Then we also need the inside, which is that sentiment right here. Whoa. It says, wishing you a bright and beautiful Christmas. Amaryllis abloom. That will go here, like that. Okay, very nice. And then on the inside, I've got the amaryllis, and it's stamped in basic beige. I'll see you tomorrow, 10:30ish. Okay, so Suzanne, that sounds good. What I would highly suggest when you get here, if you do not see me fluttering around, just call me. Make sure you have your cell phone and call me, because I am not planning to leave tomorrow, but I don't know where I will be. If I'm upstairs or working on laying stone in the morning, it kind of depends on Tyler. If he gets me staged for working on stone, I might be outside. But if he doesn't have me working on stone, I'm going to be working on the Season of Elegance cards tomorrow. All right, we're not done with this. Around, it's hard to see it, but to offset this so it doesn't blend in with this too much, what we did is we took a dauber and we sponged around the edge of the octagon just to give it a little differentiation. Hi, buddy. Are you thirsty, my friend? You're so cute. Let's turn the water on for you. Okay, so here we have a little bit of a hunky sighting. He is the one, him and Tigger both absolutely love to drink out of the water faucet. So now you can see him, his little tongue going to town. All right, so we're gonna keep going around. So basic beige to me has a green undertone to it. So it really matches nice when you use it with green. And by putting this little bit of edging on it, it draws it so that it doesn't blend in with the paper. So two cards, sponging the edges. All right, so that's it for the ink color. We get to get assembly happy. All right, let's see what we can do. This and that one we have to be careful. All right, so we're going to do this one, our white inside, and this one, because there's holes here, I'm gonna do from the top. And then this goes right here, centered as best you can. And then this designer paper kind of nestles on that left-hand side. Top, bottom, and left are the same. And then you have your inside. You can go right there. Perfecto, changeo. And then this one right here, you're going to adhere to the card front. Judy says she loves you, Hunky. He's still going for the water. It's now to a drip. Let's see if we need to give you a little bit more here, buddy. You're so cute. There you go. All right. Then we're gonna grab tear and tape and put one waiting in the wings. And this ribbon is under the label, closer to the left side, underneath the easen, kind of to the left of the season. And I'm gonna go to the O first, and I have about a good 1/2 inch there, enough that I can cut my tail. And I'm gonna bring it back at an angle here, and then flip it back this way. So you have about 6 inches of ribbon. So you've got just a little bit of wiggle room. Like if you wanted a little bit more here, then you'd have a little bit less there. But something like that. It's underneath the season. I'm gonna put that tear and tape like that. So now that's staged and ready to go. The only thing I need to do is figure out how to get Hunky to turn off the water. All right, so this guy. Now this is special. It has 4 prongs, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. But you only have 3 flowers. We did decapitate the top one here, or like we took it off. Like you just take your scissors and get rid of it. And we only did that because we were thinking of the die cutters. The dies, like this, we gave you all the flower pieces. There's 6 flower pieces, right? So if we would have put another flower on there, the die cutters would have had to run through an extra, I mean, there would have been enough real estate on the cherry cobbler, but they would have had to run it through separately, or we would have had to find another set of dies, I guess. So we thought it looked better with 3 as well, and 4 would have been too much. So that's why we chose to opt to get rid of it. Then the leaf one here, that's gonna go right about here. And this does not go up all the way there. That is a little bit too tall. So what you can do, let's get our flower pieces together actually. Let's do that. Whoa, he flew away from me. So these 2 go together. I'm gonna zoom in just a hair. So these 2 go together. And there's really not a rhyme or reason to it. Just figure out how you like them to look. I guess I didn't think there was a rhyme or reason to it, but figure out how you like them looking the best. So something like that could work. And you could either use liquid glue or you could use a glue dot. We will do a glue dot, or a dot of liquid glue. And then just put them together like that. All right. And then, so when I'm looking at this now, there's a natural, more open area right here that could get used, because then you see the stem coming through. And what I would do is put a dot of liquid, or this glue dot, and I'm going to put that right here and attach my flower to that, because you see most of the stem on that one. Okay, so that'll be the start of that. And then these 2 little guys, the one that's more of an oval, that one I've got on the bottom, and the pointier part, I've got that going out this way, and they kind of go together like that to me. That's how I did it. And this paper is holy. There's little lines through it. So if you start to use liquid glue, it's going to start to ooze through it. So I actually am going to take a non-committal dot and put that back there, and then line up my bottom edges here, and they're coming out like that. That's the one. And then grab another glue dot and put that back here. If you want, you could use dimensionals too, but you could pop that right there. That's kind of hanging out like that. Now this one, there's one that's wider, like horns, I guess, and then there's one that's not, and got it like that. So the one that's a little more full is on the bottom. So I'm going to take another non-committal dot and then stick that to the bottom here, like that. Now, there's a whole open spot right here. A black dimensional would be good right there, because it kind of gives it the more 3D effect, like that. It like makes it like it's open, but yeah, it's grounded at the bottom. And then you want to grab another glue dot, and then that one attaches like that. So you could put that all together, and now you have an idea of where the flowers can go. I've got them below the top edge, right? If you would glue this like this, they'd be hanging out over the top, and I didn't really want that. I wanted them more like that. So what I'm gonna do is flip this over now and grab some dimensionals. And then that's gonna hold up your flowers. And what we'll do is put liquid glue. And just know that some of this bottom is gonna get cut off. So I'm not gonna put glue all the way to the bottom. They are very small. So Sandy, I definitely agree with you. So for those that aren't a big fan of all these little teeny tiny pieces, and you got this kit from me, this is a great, like, okay, I see what this die set is all about. Not the biggest fan of it. I got to try it before I buy it, and now I get to decide I don't want to buy it. Like, that is exactly why getting some of these kits for me can help you figure out if you really want to buy some of this stuff or not. So that goes like this, and they are small. Like this little guy right here, it is really hard. And if your hands don't have good dexterity, it's definitely not something you would want to maybe work with. But I'm gonna put a little dot there. And on this one, I like to take the little pointy things and bend them up and then put that right in the middle of that. All right, and now we've got this where you could use and do them flat, or these are a good size. You could actually put couple of these behind your leaves, and then one more actually. Whoop, it just barely fits. You might have to cut them too if you don't get it on there nicely. But then what you can do, a little bit of glue right there. You could also use, hello Karen Wetstein, you could also use your non-committal dot if you want. And then this goes a little bit like that. And then what you're going to do is take your scissors and snip off the bottom. And that just flew way over there. All right. And then this, again, if you don't like popping so much, don't pop it, do it flat. But I'm going to pop this up. Every time you add dimensionals, it does add to the thickness of your cards. I can't deny that. So you have to make executive decisions about how much popping you want to do. But once you pop, sometimes it's hard to stop. All right, then this guy, I have it a little bit more to the right and the left because that allows you to see the designer paper versus covering it up. All right, then your label. So there's a part of your label that gets hanging off the edge over here. With that, I'm going to put a dimensional, and then everywhere else actually is going to be flat. Will the stamped flower fit on that piece? I think so. Let me just get it here in a moment. It's kind of peeking off. Oh man, you guys hang on one moment, please. This little guy's peeking off over here a little bit. You see a little of the stem. You see a little bit of the die cut there. And that dimensional was over here, and the rest of this now is flush. All right, and then Sandy asked if the flower would fit. So this, oh man, it's right here. Ha ha ha. Dirty, so I'm just gonna hover. Yes, it would fit on there. So this would stamp right onto there, and you could not do anything with those die cuts if you don't want to. Now that we have the ribbon on here, hi Patty, right? I'm going to take and trim my tails. I like to trim the tails once the ribbon's on the card, because then I can see how to cut it. And what could you, Stella? Well, in this case, go to town on your flower. Stella, Ella, that. And your greenery. And then your other flower area here. Perfect. Might as well, right? If you want, you could do your designer series paper too. And then you have 3 gems, and we put a big one and the small one. there. Now, you guys, I started this class saying I had about, in my book, I have 3 open spots, but I really need to get through my emails before I would commit those. Just like I have potentially, you guys, if you didn't hear it, where we're at, the Wounded Warrior benefit, we raised about, it's $31,261 is where we're at, okay? Which is super cool, awesome. I'm just getting the last monies coming in yet because people signed up for cards in the last week. People did raffle at the end and needed to send checks. And so I'm still collecting the money before I send the check in, right? So I've got a little bit before I can send the check. But once I have all the funds in, that's when I plan to send the check. So at the moment, so we're kind of buttoned up on the kits, right? I had 2 kits left, but they're on a waiting list for somebody. Right, so if they don't need to go to anybody else for whatever reason, then I'm set on the kits. But then there are 3 sets of made cards left. If you want to get on the waiting list for the made cards, that's what I'm going to do. I just don't want to risk somebody not getting their shipment or getting the mail, and then I have to like kit up something or make them up because that would make me want to cry a little bit. Not really, but I'd cry a little bit on the inside because of the extra work that we have. So I'm waiting to make sure we don't have to need those for anything else. But we potentially have 3 sets of made cards left. 1 that I made live last Monday. So they're the cards that I made. And then there are 2 sets of cards that my helpers were here and we made. And so they're potentially 3 sets of the whole set, like whole 6 cards. It's not like 5 cards. It's the full 6 cards. So if you want to get on a waiting list for the made cards, you can let me know. So yeah. So in Sandy, Koyamari, you're on the waiting list for the 2 kits. If for some reason you're like, yeah, I didn't want the kits for the made cards and I want to switch to the made cards, then I would have 2 kits left, right? So I guess I need to make sure I understand that I have that correct. But yeah, so you guys, pretty awesome. I haven't sent the email out about the update. I'm still coming up for air on everything. The last 3 weeks have been a whirlwind. And so as soon as I can get, before I leave for San Diego, I will have an update out there and it's going to include who won the prizes for the raffle, and then it'll have the amount that we raised and just an overview of the day. You guys, Kelly took pictures, about 160 pictures throughout the day between her and Chris Duderanke. They took pictures on a nice professional camera, and she created albums for all the pictures. There's 2 albums, so you guys can go to the Cards by Christine Facebook page, and you can see all of the activities and all of the things that happen throughout the day. Very cool. So just in case you guys didn't catch that, that is out there now too. So back, I got a squirrel there. I don't know how that happened, but I got a squirrel. And so here we have, and I don't know if you guys can see the Stella on the, there you can kind of see the Stella. Stella is so cool. It adds this shimmeriness to the card. And then on the inside, we have here, wishing you a bright and beautiful Christmas. So we did it. We did it. We got our 3 Christmas cards buttoned up for tonight. The monthly class is in the books, October 2024 monthly class. You're fine with either. If someone really wants kits, I'll take the made cards. Awesome. See, I love it. Thank you for being easygoing. That makes me happy. Easy button is what I need, you guys. It really is. So that makes it easy. So I guess we could say we have waiting list for 3 more sets of cards then. So yes, love me some Wink. You betcha. All right, you guys, that was the monthly class for October. And we can call the class, I think, a wrap. I have in person yet on Saturday morning. So if you're local to me, let me know if you are planning to come to class Saturday. We are going to start at 9 o'clock. So just in case anybody wants to get on that yet. All right, so I'm going to pull my book out and we are going to do a drawing for a door prize. And we had, I believe, 9. It might be 9. It is 10. 10 people. Linda loves them. Kathy gives me hearts. Yay. Let's see here. We're going to go to the random number generator. We're going to pull 10 into our... Oh, it's already on 10. Okay. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. So I'm going to hit the word generate. Generate and see what happens. 2 scoops. Look at that. Lucky number 2. 2 is over here. 2 is Sheila Roberts. Yay, Sheila. You are the winner of the October monthly class 2024 door prize. So when you get your next class package mailed out in probably November, I will make sure to do my best to include a door prize for you. I always try, you guys. I try. I always try. But sometimes things happen. So I always try. All right. Thanks for your... Yes, the helpers did a great job, you guys. So we went over in the beginning of class a lot of stuff that's coming up for the rest of the week and into next week. So you guys are prepared to know what's happening. We are, I would say this is our monthly, we are half done with classes this month. We've done the launch, we did the Sentimental Christmas, we've done monthly, and we did the kit class. So we've already done 4 classes in the last 2 weeks, and we have mystery card coming up on the 28th. We have Share, Create, Inspire also on the 28th, you guys. We have back-to-back double header that day. And then we have ink, paper, scissors on the 30th. You guys, I still have plenty of kits for ink, paper, scissors for the iconic celebrations in case you still want to get that. Reach out. I might have like 10 to 15 left. I don't know for certain, but there's a little baby chunk of them. And then the season of green and gold. There are less than 5 sets of that class left, and that is on, boom, down. There are about less than 5 sets of that class left, so I might be starting a waiting list for that. That one is Monday night, and then we have Let's Just Stamp on Monday at 1. So we have 2 double headers yet, which is 4 classes, and then we have the 30th with ink, paper, scissors. So good stuff, you guys. It is October. There is a sign-up special right now, too. In case you are not a demonstrator, discount shopper, or hobbyist, and you would like to be getting your 20% discount on product and up to 25% discount once you become Bronze Elite, then you could join my team. If you're not with somebody else or a different demonstrator that you work with and you're looking to join an amazing community, the Be Happy Stampers would love to welcome you with open wings. Right now, the sign-up special is $155. You get $155 worth of product for $99 plus tax. So it's free shipping. For me in Fond du Lac, it's about $105 with tax, and you get to pick out $155 worth of Stampin' Up! Products. They could be pre-order products too for the new online exclusives. So if you were eyeing up what I did earlier with these gems or with the pool party ribbon, then you could add that to your cart. There's a new otter set. There's a lovey-dovey set with hearts and stuff. There's flowers, a hibiscus set. There's a bunch of different things that you could add to your starter kit. And so that special runs through October 31st. And you have for 2 weeks from today, 2 weeks you have until you can make that decision. And again, if you have any questions with that, you can always reach out to me and ask me. And the other thing that you could do too, if you go to my website, which is not that one, but this one. It's cardsbycrispy.com. And if you go to where it has here, join my team, you can find all of the information on figuring out like what a business builder is, what a discount shopper is, what do you have to do, what do you get, all the good stuff. All the questions that you might have, you could look through this first, and then you can decide if you want to do it or not. And if you have more questions, that's where you could also reach out to me. But all you have to do is click join now, and that takes you right to the Stampin' Up! Page where you would have me be selected as your leader if you'd like to have me as your leader. So yay. Hi, Sarah Marison. Sorry late was, oh, perfect. You were with Kylie and Bruno this morning. Awesome. Very cool. All right, I feel like I have a cat fur. They're strict. Yeah. You can't pre-order on multiple orders. I think you can. So Sandy Coy Emery, okay, so for those that don't necessarily know, how the pre-order works is it has set limits. You can order 2 of consumable things. So like these are consumable. Gems, ribbon, they're consumable. If you decide you want to order 1 of these packs of gems on one order and you want to order another pack on another order, you can do that. It's just you only get to order potentially 2 of them. And if it's part of a suite though, you could potentially get up to 3 of them. Stamps, dies, embossing folders, punches, those kind of things are considered non-consumable, and you can only order 1 of them. So you can order as many times during a pre-order as you want, but you can only order certain amounts of product. And so I think that might be maybe what you're wondering about. But you can order I believe you can order because it's for me, I can order as many things as I want on an order that are pre-order. I just can't order more than the amount. And that's why it's called a pre-order, so that you can get a subset of the products, and actually all of them are part of the pre-order, but that's what the pre-order is. You can get the products ahead of time, so you can start working with it, playing with it. Like for me, in my case, Diane and I could start designing with it and start building it into our card classes that are in November, so that when the product launches in November and we're using it in our classes, you guys can see it in full swing, and then you can decide if you want to buy it or not. So yay. Yeah. You ordered 2 of the marble papers. I tried to order more, but it wouldn't let me. That would be correct because you can only order 2. Paper is consumable, so it only lets you order 2 of consumables during the pre-order, and that would be exactly why you would only be able to order 2. Now, if it was stamps, dies, ink, embossing folders, bundles, sweets, only 1. Okay, so yeah, so that sounds right, Sandy. That is exactly why you could only order 2. Good job. Okay, we got it. Go team, right? So I'm going to let you guys go. Have a great rest of your evening. And we will not see you tomorrow because Kelly did the kit class today. But we will see you back here Monday at 1 o'clock Central for Let's Just Stamp. And that features Regal Flora. I have about 15 sets of that class left, or maybe 12, something like that. More than 10, less than 20, somewhere in there. In case anybody would still like to get the Regal Flora class, it is available. And it's very patriotic. It's red, white, and blue. I don't have the cards here. They're up on my board, but you can always go to my website for Monday and check out the cards. And if you guys are wanting them, just reach out to me, send me a note, and we'll go from there. All right, you guys, do something amazing with the rest of the weekend the rest of the week that you guys have. Whatever you love to do, try to do something for you. So make something pretty, right? Go up into your craft room or make a great dinner or go to the movies or get outside, enjoy the weather, go for a walk, whatever you guys do, just make sure you do something for me, okay? All right, I love you a long time, and you guys have a great rest of your week. Lots of sunshine, love, and big hugs to you. We will see you later. Bye.